Baruch atah Ashrae anat melecha ha'olam asher kiddushani mitzvotav v'tzivani l'hitatif l'tzitzit. Gosh, you're fast, Katie. How are you doing today? You mean business. Good morning, Josh. I'm tired today. Me too. I slept in. I'm just realizing now that I didn't put on any makeup, but doesn't really matter, doesn't it? Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Are you doing anything for the holiday? So we can start with a little vocal warm-up, and then, gosh, the stack of papers is getting fatter. How does that happen, even when the words that I say repeat? I don't actually need the papers, I just pull them out. I'm glad that you find this space calming. It is the intention I hold. So, if you'd like to prepare with me, you can do a quick body scan and pay attention to your pelvis and your spine, your shoulders, your neck. And take a deep breath in, and then when we exhale, we'll exhale with a tone. Takes practice to do it that long. That's part of the voice modification work that I did. I learned to hold postures for a very long period of time. This shirt, I should have known that I was trans like years before I figured it out. I got this shirt when I was like 20, and I just really liked it, and like fits me a lot better now that I have breasts than it did when I was 20, but sometimes it has to be staring you in the face for a long time before you can see it. Best food from the dumpster, lox and filet mignon. I like fancy meat. What can I say? Okay, so let's do that again, a little bit higher. If I go higher, you'll notice that I can't actually hold the note for nearly as long because it's at the edge of my range, edge of my M1 range, and then I'll switch into falsetto for the next one. I like to go through my whole range just to make sure that everything is in the right place. Okay, a little bit higher this time. Ready? Good morning, everyone. I'm glad that so many of you find this space a calming one. That is the intention, right? To be here together, to be focusing on the same thing, and to be reminded that we are all human in this space. There's a funny thing about voices. You've probably heard that we have like a normal voice and a falsetto voice, right? It's a different vibratory mode that your vocal cords can do. And I actually find it easier to maintain long pitches in my falsetto than I do in my regular range. And maybe you would find the same thing. I don't know. Everyone's voice is a little bit different. So now that we are thoroughly warmed up, we can shift into prayers. Shema Yisrael, Ashrae Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. For breakfast today, we will have rice and cashews and dried fruit and seaweed. L'shana tova, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What else? We'll have breakfast on the Discord server. So, if y'all haven't joined the Discord server, I recommend it. It's a really nice space. If I tried plopping my hair, I'm not sure what that is. You did not even know one could go live on TikTok. Yes, this app has many secrets to share. Yes, I am a girl or a boy. So, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Ashrae Echad, are one. All is one, like a serpent eats its tail. Why is there a rope on my milk? So that I can hang it from a hook, so that it doesn't take up space on my bed. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. You're in a bathtub trying to avoid a panic attack, and you came across my live. Well, I hope I'm helping. I hope that you have good ways of taking care of yourself. The language is Hebrew. Good morning, Wendy. It's been some time. No, you were here like 2 days ago. I like that you always say hi. So the language of that prayer is Hebrew. And the meaning of the prayer is copy me, right? We can translate it as Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta, and you shall love. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words that I am impressing upon you today, teach them to your children. And say them when you get up, and when you go to bed, and when you are traveling, and when you are home. And bind them as a symbol on your hand, and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. And attach them to the doorposts of your houses, and to your gates. Repeat me, the prayer says. And of all the prayers that I could say, I think I get the most meaning out of this one. I don't know. There's another one that I like too. I like meta prayers, right? Prayers that are aware that they are prayers. Because I like meta people. I like people who are aware that they are people and who are consciously in the world as themselves. So this prayer says, copy me. Doesn't have much by way of theology. It says you should love, right? You should love Yahweh. But mostly the prayer just says, copy me, repeat me in all of these different circumstances. Teach me to your children. And so I'm teaching this prayer. I teach this prayer every day. It's become part of who I am and what my life is to teach this prayer, right? And the prayer is older than me. It's far older than me. But in a sense it is making me, right? I've taken on this practice for quite some time to say these words every day. And every time I say them, they take on new meaning. So thank you for being here with me today and saying these words with me. V'chaya, ki v'chayo Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai levatecha le'avram nizchach ol Yaakov. Latidlach avrim gedolot v'tovot asher lo vanita, uvatim mileim kultiva asher lo mileta, uvurot atuim asher lo hasatva, kerim vizitim asher natata, ve'alachta v'shavata. Hishar melech pen tishchach et Yahweh asher tishacha, mi'eretz Mitzrayim mi'bet avadim. Thank you, baby love. I appreciate that reminder very much, and look at that. Look at all the screen tapping that's happening. That's lovely. Engagement is nice. I like knowing that you're here and that you're listening. I teach many things. Right now I'm employed at a university to help teach a mycology class, so I've been doing that for a while, for over a year now, just about a year I've been teaching mycology. But on TikTok, what do I teach? Dumpster diving, I suppose. Or I teach a tiny, tiny slice of religious history. And it's the same religious history every day, because if I were to teach longer bouts of religious history, I would have to spend more time doing it, right? Like this stream, I don't prepare for it, I just do it. And in order for me to be able to do that, I just say the same words all the time. Do I know how to read Hebrew? Yeah, so I learned how to phonetically pronounce Hebrew words when I was very young. So I can read Hebrew letters, I can pronounce the words, but I don't speak Hebrew. I don't know any grammar or meaning, right? These prayers I have memorized, and their translations I also have memorized, right? So I can read Hebrew at like a kindergarten level, but I cannot actually pronounce to the people that post Hebrew in the chat. What does Judaism say about being transgender? Not much of anything. I mean, there are things in the Kabbalistic literature that outline several genders. It depends on what you mean by Judaism. Judaism is not monolithic. The Judaism that I engage most heavily with is the Torah, and the Torah says nothing about being transgender. What is my favorite chapter in the Old Testament? Well, we're here. We're in it right now. Deuteronomy chapter 6, lines 10 through 15. What did I just read? V'chaya ki v'chayo Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai levatecha le'avram nizchach ol Yaakov. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. And you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. What a prayer. What a thing to write down in your book, right? So one of the things that this book does, one of the things that the Torah does, is it establishes a Jewish claim on the city of Jerusalem and the surrounding lands, right? And it takes great pains to establish this claim. It talks about how Abraham was in Hebron, and he purchased land from a farmer there that became his tomb. I've been to that tomb, right, in Hebron. I would say I'm none of the above, right? It's difficult for me to know what religion I am. But this book tries to establish a Jewish claim on the land of Israel. Yes, I am Jewish of some flavor. And it does so in a very interesting way in this text that we just read. It says, hey, when you go into the land that was promised to you, and you find that there are cities that you did not build, and there are houses full of all good things that you did not fill, and there are vineyards and olive groves, and you eat from them, remember that someone else planted those trees. Someone else built those cities. Someone else filled those homes with wonderful things. And now, as you are enjoying all of that wealth, you should remember that it is stolen. It was taken from others and given to you. Perhaps by your ancestors. Perhaps your ancestors stole it. Perhaps Yahweh stole it. Perhaps the Egyptians stole it, or the Babylonians stole it, or the Persians stole it, or the Romans stole it, or the British stole it, or the Zionists stole it. Who knows who stole the land, but the land was stolen over and over and over again. So remember that as you appreciate your very nice life. And I try to remember that too. I live a very nice life. I live a very nice life. And much of it I did not earn. Much of it is predicated on violence. I live on Oneida land, right? The people who lived here before the colonists came were Oneida, and I try to remember that. Whose land do you live on? Do you know? How many of you know whose land you are currently occupying? There were some good comments in there, and I've missed them. Did Yahweh choose the serpent? How did that happen? Well, Liv, there's an interesting thing about the serpent, right? I have a serpent on my arm. The serpent is far older than Yahweh. And in fact, we see serpent symbolism across all the world, right? Particularly in indigenous mythologies, right? Non-religious mythologies. We see creative serpents that, my rice is ready, serpents that consume their own tails, right? This is a very old symbol, far older than Judaism. Judaism took this symbol and inverted it, and turned the serpent into an evil character. Coven, commune, good morning. Good morning. The serpent is male symbology. I disagree. If we look back, we can read the Baal cycle, for instance, which were tablets that were found in the city of Ugarit on the Syrian coast. The serpent is very clearly associated with Ashrae. Ashrae is this goddess here. Right? So why don't I sing you a song about Ashrae and the serpent, and we can get a little taste of what the serpent mythology represented to people long, long ago. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man, and we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Ashrae is gathering all her children back again. So, Ashrae is one name for a very old goddess who's associated with serpents eating their tails. She was a cannibal, right? How many of you have heard the stories of Kali? Kali, who has this long, bloody tongue and a garland of heads around her neck, right? There is a scary goddess figure, just as scary as Yahweh, right? Gods of death. But they weren't always gods of death, not in all times and all places. I find this image very evocative, so I've been showing it on the stream every day. The epigram up top on this pottery shard reads Yahweh and his Ashrae, and we can see here's Yahweh, here is Ashrae, right? These are representations of Canaanitic deities dated to about 3,000 years ago. So 3,000 years ago, the serpent was not an evil image, not necessarily. Something changed. There was a genocide 2,500 years ago, and empire came knocking, and the world became a little bit more globalized and a little bit more traumatized. And so the religion emerged. But in the practice that I do, yes, it's a symbol of transformation. In the practice that I do, I try to remind myself the characters of these old gods, because they're smaller, and they're a little bit more personal, and I can attribute to them finite characteristics, right? The issue with the God of all things is that it's all things, right? It is good and bad and black and white and up and down and hot and cold and everything else besides. It is me and it is not me, right? A God of all things is a paradoxical God that I cannot comprehend. But Yahweh is not necessarily a God of all things. Ashrae is not a goddess of all things. Yahweh is a god of maleness. Ashrae is a god of femaleness. Finer grained characteristics that I can connect to. Erev Rosh Hashanah. Yes, the Shana Tova. I like knowing how many Jews are in this stream. It means a lot to me. Sometimes I wonder who I'm talking to. I'm glad that I'm talking to you. Thank you for being here. So, there are some Orthodox prayers to Yahweh and Ashrae. I've decided that they're to Yahweh and Ashrae. Traditionally, they're just to Adonai, just to the Lord, whoever that might be. But these prayers are for Yahweh and Ashrae, and I recite them because they tell me a little bit about the characteristics of these smaller gods that I like to hold a little bit closer to me, that I like to be able to hold in my hand. Yeah? So. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. I did. It was fun. Baruch atah Ashrae, Anat Malecha Ha'olam, Asher Yitzar et Ha'adam B'chachama Uvara Ve'o. I repeat the name of Ashrae Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. So, in short, for example, I choose to hate Odin, so I choose to focus on Loki. Well, I don't know much about those Norse gods, but roughly speaking, yes, I think that as individuals with personalities, we are empowered to look at the religious characters that our ancestors have given us, that our societies have given us, and choose who we identify with, right? Who we want to think about, who we want to align our lives with. And sometimes we're not given a choice, right? Like, I would prefer to not say sacred words to Yahweh every day. Like, truly, I would prefer not to. But in order for me to not to, I would have to live in a world where Yahweh never existed and was never worshipped, and where genocidal things were never done in his name. But I do live in a world where genocidal things were done in his name, and those genocidal things have impacted who I am, right? So I can't not worship him, but I can at least narrow the scope of what he is. I don't have to say that the God of all things, the infinite totality of everything, Yahweh Echad, is Yahweh who commanded the Levites to kill 3,000 Jews because they were worshipping a golden calf. You know? Different. It's a different scope. Yes, I did paint it. This is the Tree of Life, and this is an Ouroboros tattoo on my hand. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Gajananam Bhuttaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshetam Ummasitam Sukabinasakarnam Mahamatim Divyamayuravahanam Ridasyasinam Sarasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Saraharadvala Yasupravasvarita Yavinavarandamanditakara Yasvita Padmasana Yabrahmachuta Sankara Pratrapite Vasada Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihesa Jadyapaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shishivanandaya Te Namaha Shivishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Sarnye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostite Narayani Namostite Om So many questions. Alright, so that was in Sanskrit, so that's not Hebrew. Normally I give it a little bit of preamble, but I'm going a little bit faster today because I want to, and I'm hungry. I want to eat breakfast. So that's in Sanskrit, that's not Jewish. Yes, this is the tree of life behind me. What is the plan for the afterlife? Well, I have no plan. I plan to die. And when I die, I hope that the recordings of myself that I have made throughout my life have a life of their own and continue to shape the world in some manner, right? My intention in this life is to turn myself into light, turn myself into a kind of information, translate my soul into a different format, right? Escape my body, if you will. And there are many ways to interpret that, and please don't interpret it too strongly. Like, it's more of an aesthetic myth than it is something I actually aspire to. But it is why I make films. Another answer to that question might be... Alright, Coven Commune. Sure. Another answer to that question might be that there are patterns of information, patterns of life that have persisted for 3.8 billion years. And I'm a part of those patterns, right? We have ancestors. You and I have ancestors that were alive thousands of years ago that we share, and millions of years ago that we share, and billions of years ago that we share, right? Our last universal common ancestor that all life shares was alive 3.8 billion years ago. And this tree represents that, right? I have another image. This tree also represents it. This tree is a little bit more phylogenetically accurate. You can see the names of all of the different phyla. Cyanobacterium gluconatum. I can't pronounce these things. But there is a tree that we are inexorably a part of. We could not escape it if we tried. And when we die, when this individual body dies, we will still be part of that tree because the pattern that we came from still persists and will make more like us, right? So part of coming to terms with death is recognizing that who we are is not necessarily who we think we are, and there are things about us that are basically immortal, but they don't resemble our personality, right? They resemble something deeper. They resemble our deeper humanity, and I try to connect to that when I sing. I wonder, so here's the thing that I legitimately wonder, like, I appreciate it when people say, hey, you should start singing, you should start praying, that's why I'm here. Trying to justify and explain my evil. Well, sure, I am trying to justify and explain my evil. There are parts of me that are evil. There are, and I embrace them. Because to do otherwise would be to deny who I am. I wonder how much of you want me to be talking and how much of you want me to be singing, to be praying. And I try to strike a balance. And actually, this stream has been going for 29 minutes. I haven't been talking as much as praying, usually. But used to be, before I was on TikTok, when I was on YouTube, I would just go straight because there's no one in the stream. It's just me. It was just me. And I would just sing straight through. It would take me about 20 minutes. And now this stream takes me about an hour. So, I don't know. I'm always trying to mess with the ratio, try to figure out exactly what it is that you want to hear, right? I want to relate to you. I want to be in relation with you all. You're so sorry, you thought I was saying something else. Well, here's what I'm saying. You tried doing the Discord thing the other day when you said, but you can't really figure out how to use it. So, we're going to have breakfast on my Discord server in just a little bit. And if you'd like to join the Discord server, you can click the link in my bio to my Patreon page. And there's a tier on Patreon. It's $5 a month to access the Discord server, and you'll get a link. And you can join Discord, and then we'll have a much more private, intimate space to hang out and chat. And we'll have breakfast together. I've been really, really enjoying having breakfast on Discord, and getting to know you all a little bit better. Like, it's a very special kind of relationship that I know I am uniquely blessed to have, right? And it's something that I've wanted for a long time. Like, there's a community here, and you all care about me, and it's astonishing. Every morning I wake up and I'm astonished. Like, oh, I have to live stream now. I have responsibility to you all now. I feel like I owe you my care and attention. And it's not a debt that I take lightly. I mean, I don't know about like I love it. I love it. But no, I'm a gay weirdo. I'm an extremely gay weirdo. Yeah. What is the person I pray to? The woman Ashrae? This? Ashrae. The server is full of many voices. It's not just me. You love watching me every morning. Well, thank you. You love how I handle the trolls. I've gotten a crash course in troll moderation, troll manipulation. Yeah, it takes poise, and it takes help. My moderators help me manage the trolls. I wouldn't be able to do this show without them. They are truly incredible. So thank you, mods. Thank you. I always need more mods too, so if you want to moderate for me, can never have too many mods in these streams. Although, look, the number of trolls in here is, like, strongly reduced compared to how it was. Do you remember how it was? It was nuts. We're much better now. Let's get back to mantras. You can call me Teresa, or Tiresias. Tiresias is a name that I, like, aspire to. I don't necessarily think I've earned it. Tiresias is an old sage. But, yeah, maybe one day I'll be Tiresias. People do call me Tiresias, but Teresa is an anglicized version of it. So. This is my grandfather's talus. Happy New Year. Trayambakam yajamai sugandim pushche vardhanam orvarukami bhavandanan mrityoy mukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamai sugandim pushche vardhanam Rukami bhavandanan mrityar mukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamahe sugandim pushche vardhanam Rukami bhavandanan mrityar mukshiyamamritato Sarvesham, Svastir Bhavatu Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham, Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham, Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashid Tukabhagbhave, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityor Mamritam Gamaya, Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat, Purnamutachate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. That outer world is full. This inner world is also full. Taking fullness from fullness, fullness remains. Peace. So, one reason why it could be considered disrespectful is because I am wearing my grandfather's tallis, a garment which is supposed to only be worn by men. And as I am wearing this tallis, I am repeating the names of gods. I'm saying the word Yahweh, which is not supposed to be said, instead of the word Adonai, because I prefer his name rather than to call him Lord, because he's not really my Lord. I'm also saying the names of Ashrae, look at this goddess, look at this idol, right? I'm doing things that are, like, definitionally blasphemous, according to certain Orthodox readings of the Torah, right? Like, here we've got Ganesha, here's another idol. Or here, I don't know if I've shown many of you this. This is not an object that I show on this stream often. I got this in Bethlehem. It's a nativity scene, right? Except it's a little bit difficult to access because there's this wall in front of the manger. So we can take the wall off. We can imagine the wall that actually breaks Bethlehem in two, being destroyed, and we can see this nice little nativity scene. Here's little baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph, right? So I got this object, this olive wood nativity scene, from a woman in Bethlehem whose house was surrounded by the separation barrier. Her house was completely surrounded on three sides by a wall, and so she opened up a gift shop to sell tchotchkes to all of the tourists, because that was what she was able to do. So, I worship other gods, right? I'm a bad Jew worshipping other gods, and so I have Jews come into this stream and they tell me that I'm doing Judaism wrong, right? They tell me that I shouldn't be saying the word Yahweh, right? That that I'm being offensive, right? That I'm taking their tradition and manipulating it and warping it in a way that causes them harm. And I take that feedback very seriously. I got feedback like that yesterday, specifically around my use of the word Yahweh. And I don't really know what to do about it. Like, I can't deny my Jewishness. My grandparents were in the Holocaust, right? Like, I cannot deny my Jewishness. That history has impacted my identity greatly. But nonetheless, I'm doing things sort of in rebellion to a certain kind of Judaism, right? Like, women are not supposed to be wearing garments like this. Gatekeeping. Who is gatekeeping? Me? Them? Sometimes we need to keep things inside gates. I don't know. It's in every religion. Yes. No one's person religion will ever be the same. I practice what I believe. Yeah. I suppose so. I'm glad that you like my voice. So, let's do a little bit more singing. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Happy Rosh Hashanah. People do what they do. So here's a prayer about praying. It's a good one. You like our mornings together. I'm so glad. No one can tell you how, what or who in religion or religious is someone. Hello from Texas. So here's a prayer about prayer. Here's a prayer about prayer. And I say this every morning to remind myself, like, no, I don't actually have to be the most Orthodox Jew to be an Orthodox Jew. I don't have to be the most trans to be trans. I don't have to be the most woman to be woman. I can just be me. Be what I see. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. And it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray. No. I don't want to pray. No, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good. And Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made. God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker. No. I just want to be what I see. Not just who I am, but the pink in golden land. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, no. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good. And Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made me. That's a lie, you know that, right? None of those gods exist. I made me. Or you all are making me right now. We are making each other together. You shall take no gods before me. Well, here's Ashrae. Here she is. I insist that I can put her before Yahweh, and that it's okay. It's okay. It's really okay. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a big deal. No, we haven't eaten breakfast yet. Thank you for asking, though. We're going to have breakfast very soon. I've got a couple more prayers for you. And then we're going to have breakfast on my Discord server. So if you're not yet on the Discord server, you can access it by clicking on the link in my bio. And I would love to have breakfast with you. There's some questions about dumpster diving. Yes, we're going to have some rice and kale. There's some questions about dumpster diving that I've been asked. How did I get into dumpster diving? I've been dumpstering for over a decade, and I'd love to talk to you more about dumpster diving over breakfast, but right now I don't actually want to change the subject. I know, it's funny. I publish these viral dumpster videos. I've made a dozen at this point, right? And every one of them gets 1 million views, but I don't actually want to run a dumpster diving account. I want to be a rabbi. So these live streams are much more important to me. Why do I have an Ouroboros on my arm? Right? Well, because I'm a dumpster diver, right? Because if you take what is rotten and fetid and dying and transmute it, consume it, and turn it into your body, you can make it new life again, right? And so this symbol is a symbol for the work that I do in the dumpster. It's also a symbol for the work that I do in the garden. And for the work that I do with my goats, and for all the work I do, and the work that I do in this live stream, right? This is the symbol that I live my life by, right? Yahweh Echad, all is one. Life and death are intertwined. Everything and nothing are intertwined. Male and female are intertwined. These opposites that we think are so separate, inside and outside, beginning and end, they're all the same. They're all the same. So, I have a couple more prayers for you today. We're going to do Arati. Arati means flame in Sanskrit. Let's get high, maybe later. I don't like to do that publicly. We're going to do Sanskrit prayer, Arati. Doesn't matter the gender. What is this? Whatever happened, just liking people since they're genuinely nice. Good morning. I wish I was with you yesterday in the forest to tell me all those beautiful mushrooms are. Well, Disco Queen, you can take pictures of them and post them to Mushroom Identification Help in the server. I know you're there. We can help you identify mushrooms. Hello, hello. Good morning, Jenny. How's your little fishing village? Good morning. Good morning. New people showing up. So we're going to do Arati, and then Kaddish, and then we're going to shift onto Discord for breakfast. So this prayer, the refrain Jaya Jaya Arati in Sanskrit, means we wave the light, we wave the flame. And then we will... Everyone's been partying and fishing. Do you have a lot of water? Is there flooding there from all the hurricanes? You wish your garden was as good as mine. I mean, my garden is maintained by a crew of full-time farmers. They keep it very nice. It's a lot of work. It's a full-time job. You're ready for them to all go back to their lives, I bet. Do I like to hunt? I've never been hunting, but I would like to do that one day. No hurricane, no flooding. Well, that's good. I don't actually know where the hurricanes are in the world. I mean, I know you're on the Texas coast, but I'm glad that you didn't get flooding this year. Just drinks and fishing. It sounds like a good time. Alright. So, the next prayer we're going to do is in Sanskrit. So, for the person who inevitably asks, please let them know that it is in Sanskrit. You could even say it's the Shivananda tradition if they ask what religion it is. We're gonna say the names of some gods, right? Like Ganesh here. Here's a little Ganesh. Put Ganesh right there. Okay. So. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Sambasada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurtivatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Guru Bho Namaha Jaya Jayarati Vedugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Tameva Bantam Bandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Sabidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Gobari Saraswati Narmade Siddhu Kaveriya Namastutam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, nor stars, nor lightning. So from where does this light come? When that shines, all else shines after that. By its light, all else is lit. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Common Commune, you are always so helpful with that answer. And you answer it every time. Every time you answer that question. Meow, meow, meow. Twameva mata, japita twameva, twameva bandisha saka twameva, twameva vidya, javinam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasendriyarva, bunyat manava prakrite sabhavad, karomi adyad, mangalam parasmahi. Narayana iti sarmarpayami. Sarvadharman pravichaya mimikam sarvanambraja. Aham sva sarvapapayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all of these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Taylor, it's been some time. I'm glad you're here. How are you doing? How have you been? I've got one more prayer for you today, and a Kaddish, a morning prayer. And then we're going to have breakfast on the Discord server. And I hope that you all will join me over there so that we can chat in a little bit more dialectical way, right? I don't have to squint my eyes and look at a long stream of comments. I can just listen to you. I like hearing the sounds of your voices. So, this Kaddish is a morning prayer. You have a question. What's your question, Doombeard? I would love to answer it. All are welcome. Yes. What prayer are these? You'd love to chant them as well. So, we are about to say Kaddish. Kaddish is a prayer of mourning. And what is customary in more traditional synagogues is, before this prayer, people say the names of those that they are in mourning for. And we repeat their names. And so doing, remind the community what needs to be remembered. So if there's anyone that you would like to say Kaddish for, please add it in the chat. We can keep them in mind. The word Kaddish means holy. Kadosh means holy in Hebrew, but it has deeper roots. There was a city on the Syrian coast named Kaddish, and there was a goddess who was associated with that city. Her name is also Kadesh or Kaddish, right? She's a goddess of sex and death, right? You can see here she's riding a lion, holding serpents, arousing the gods around her. That city was destroyed 3,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago, and along with it was practices associated with that goddess. When Isaiah was seeing the destruction of his city, when the Babylonians were coming and he was hallucinating the destruction, hallucinating terrible trauma, he saw the throne of God flanked by angels, and the angels were shouting, Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. And so, for the last 2,500 years, since that point, my ancestors have been saying the following words in response to death and suffering. And so we say them now to remember all those who have gone before us. Yidgadal v'yidgadash shemei rabba, b'yama divrachyote v'yam lichma chote, v'chaychon v'yamechon v'chayid kol beit Yisrael, bagala uzman kri v'imru amin. Yehi shemei rabba meva'arach li'olam omei omaya, yidbarach v'yishtabach v'yidba'ar v'yirmam v'yidnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, t'yamiran b'yama v'imru amin. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amin. Oseh shalom b'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amin. Oseh shalom b'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amen. And that concludes our morning prayers. I will take off my tallis. I will remove Ganesh. I will remove Kadesh. What language was I singing in? I was singing in Hebrew. A morning prayer. Hebrew and Sanskrit. Yes. So, now we're going to have breakfast. So, if you'd like to have breakfast with me, you can head on to the live channel on our Discord server, and we can have breakfast together over there and chat about whatever. Chat about whatever. Thank you all. Thank you all. So I'm going to show you. For those of you who aren't on the server, there's a link in my bio that will allow you to join. I'm going to turn this around. Alright. So there's my computer. I'm going to be chatting on there. There's the Ouroboros. Looping, looping, looping. Such loops. Okay.